Finishing up chapter 8, we explore the discourse analysis, and discourse, again, is closely related to conversation, but it's all the complexities of carrying on a conversation, which, is a lot more complex than you might think when you first just talk about having a conversation with someone. And you've got to consider the context and the relationship between you and the other speaker, if it's a man or a woman, if they're younger, older, and there's all of these considerations just in setting up the conversation. And if you think about it, even to start a conversation, you need the English to be able to say, excuse me, can I talk to you for a second? Or hi, my name is John, and just getting the attention of someone, you might say, and getting the conversation started. Or it could be small talk, like chit chat, just to get to know, like, oh, did you see the game last night, or the weather? And there's a lot of language skills and cultural skills and body language. There's a lot needed just to get that conversation started. And then you have to, as they say, topic nomination, like what are we going to talk about? And I might want you to kind of keep the conversation going, like, oh, that's interesting, or yes, I've been there, tell me more about that, or what did you mean by this? Asking for elaboration on a subject, or a clarification if you don't understand something, or just keeping the conversation going, as they say, like kind of like the lost art of conversation. Those people that can keep a conversation going by taking a lot of interest in what you're saying and asking follow-up questions. And then even saying goodbye, oh, I have to go now, I have to get somewhere, or it's been great talking to you, let's get together sometime. All the farewells and trying to end the conversation, looking at your watch, and all that's involved too, and just, all of this is the discourse. Also, you might be trying to persuade someone. I might be trying to convince you of something and change your mind or give you some advice, and that can be part of the discourse. And how I do that by, not being too pushy or aggressive, or being a good listener. And this obviously can vary across cultures as well. Like the cultural example that I thought was interesting was, in some cultures, if I say, oh, I really like, your watch, and then in some cultures that means I want your watch and that you should offer it to me. And that's going to be different across cultures as well. And the corpus linguistic is the ability for a computer to analyze all the conversations, or analyze all the written material, and really establish what are the most common phrases, what are the most common words that we use, what are the most common grammatical structures. So we can do that with computers. We can say not what the book says is the English that you'll need, but what we really know from analyzing conversations, what language is most common. Some other things about conversation, there's a lot of unfinished sentences. Interrupting is also part of a natural conversation. If you listen to people, it's almost comical to listen to conversations between friends, because they finish each other's sentences or they interrupt each other. And I have noticed that when I listen to especially younger people, having conversations, and it seems like they're communicating with these shorter sentences and phrases. I've heard it said that we know men and women do often speak differently, and so I've heard it said that if you learn a foreign language, if you're a man and your teacher's a woman, then there's a chance that you'll be learning how women speak, or vice versa. I haven't really heard a lot about that. I haven't heard that, if you're a woman, you should have a woman teacher, or if you're a man, you should have a man teacher. But we do know that men and women have different styles of talking, levels of directness, and sometimes different intonation, So you could say there are gender differences that you could say in language, but I haven't really seen that ever, in an ESL book exactly. We know that nonverbal communication is very important, and how far away you stand. And okay, I just lost my lighting. Okay, it's back on. We know that this huge percentage of communication is nonverbal, and that obviously varies across cultures with the eye contact and some other crazy things like the perfume, the cologne or perfume that you're wearing, and getting down to the colors that you wear. But these nonverbal aspects of language, well, that becomes very important when you don't know the language too well and you're having to kind of pantomime a lot of the actions, that you want to express. Another difference is when you're giving a presentation, of course, your language is going to be very formal, like an oratory style, which is going to be different than just talking with a group of people and then talking with your friend and then talking with like a very intimate friend. So we have very different ways of speaking. Like the way I'm speaking now is different than if I were just talking to you, in a cafe. So we can say that there are different ways of speaking depending on giving a presentation or not, and that also becomes significant as well. And okay, so this is all the complexities that we're trying to teach people. How to all the ins and outs of just trying to have a conversation in this new language. Writing also has contrastive rhetoric to it, so that American essays are very direct and point 1, point 2, point 3, whereas in other cultures they might have a more indirect writing style. So writing or speaking, both of them can vary across cultures in that way. How much are you allowed to digress or tell some side stories, or should you just totally stick to the point? And this can be seen in movies as well. When you see movies from different countries, they're different lengths, they develop characters in different ways, and some people say that if you want to understand writing styles in different cultures, you can just look at movies and see how they tell the story in different ways. In America, of course, is the good guy, bad guy, happy ending, short and sweet action movie, compared to like a European movie that might seem more complex, or an animation movie or something, where the bad guy becomes a good guy and these things. So, okay, that's the end of chapter 8.